There was 2 times in my life that I was homeless. The first time was the craziest because I was actually active duty in the military. And that's kind of its own story. The second time was also a really precarious situation. I was in the civilian world and I was just living in my car. In between places, in between money, pretty much. But what ended up happening was I had someone that was there for me. And it takes a lot for me to ask. Let's face it, I would love to sleep under a roof, in a bed. But most of the time, I'm just the kind of guy that's not going to go out of my way to ask for that. I feel like being that level of intrusive in someone else's world is kind of beyond me. And that goes for a lot of different things. So, for example, when it comes to money, I won't directly ask for it unless it's bottom of the line. I need it. More than anything else in the world, I'm going to need it. But I do that human thing where I kind of allude to it. And I never really thought about this because I'm the kind of guy that I'll talk about anything and everything that's on my mind. Like, I have no problem being relatively as open as a book. Other people don't see it that way, though. They see me being open and me kind of just letting all the information in my reality out there. A lot of people look at that as sort of dropping hints. So, for example, there have been times in my life where I'll have a conversation with someone and I'll be talking about money woes, but from my perspective, it's just me complaining. It's just me talking. It's me venting out to the universe what's going on in my world. And I'm doing it with someone that I feel comfortable enough having that conversation with. But on the receiving end, that person might feel like I think this person's trying to drop hints and stuff. And that's never really the case. It's not what I'm trying to perceive to the world, but I can understand why people have that vision, why people have that idea of, oh, you're talking about this, you must want this, or you must think that I can help you with this. I remember there were certain people in my life that they would only come in my life if they wanted something from me. There was this girl that we used to hang out with back in Korea, me and my army buddies. You know, she was kind of part of the group, and, you know, we used to hang out with her and stuff. And she was pretty cool with us. And then when we left, you know, I try to keep in touch with everybody, for the most part. At least at least once or twice a month. Like, hey man, how you doing? Just want to make sure you're good, kind of thing. But with her, I would reach out and I would get nothing back. Over the course of time, I think she got married, she got pregnant. Like, all these things happen, these life things happen. And especially when it comes to women, you know, they might have this idea like, oh, this guy's hitting me up, he must want something from me. When that's not the case. However, though, I noticed that with this particular individual, I just kind of gave up talking to her, and it's like, you know what, she's got her own thing going on, I don't want to intrude on that space, no worries. But without fail, time and time again, at least every 6 months, like clockwork, she would hit me up, and a close circle of our friends, you know, basically asking for money. The conversation would always start with, oh, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Oh, that's great. Oh, by the way, I need money for this. Can you help me out? And I remember she finally stopped hitting me up because I gave her a very honest answer. I would always tell her, like, oh, I'm kind of strapped for cash myself too. Hopefully you work it out. And then she would just immediately end the conversation. But the last time that she did it, I basically called her out. I was like, hey, the only time I hear from you is if you want something from me. And no matter what, even if I can't do it for you, you still always try to, you know, down the road, try to see if you can get some money out of me. You know, it's like, I want to be your friend, I want to be there for you, but this person that I knew when I lived in Korea, that's obviously not who you are now. You know, because that's true. I'm not the same guy that I was when I was living in Korea. When I was living in Korea, I was getting blackout drunk damn near all the time. And it's like, the reason why I laugh about it now is because it's such a different person from who I am today. Like today, like I don't even drink anymore. I mean, like, let's face it, like, I really don't. I'll probably have the occasional beer with a meal, but when I say occasional, I mean probably one beer every 6 months, if that. And you know, I have my own reasons for that, but mainly it's one of those things I've just grown out of. It's like over time, it's like, all right, that part of my life is now behind me. Let's move on to the next thing. And it seems that when people move on from one thing to another, they're not really always going the way that they thought that they would. That's pretty much for everyone across the board. You know, you take a look at me 2-3 years ago, would have no idea where I would be today. Take a look at me 3 years ago, I would have no clue that I would be in Las Vegas doing what I do today. I just wouldn't even fathom my life being structured the way it is today 3 years ago. I wouldn't imagine the kind of guy that I would be back then today. You know, it's like, we really do change over time. It's no joke. We really honestly do change over time. And for some people, it can be molded in a very positive way. For me, for example, I try to formulate myself and be positive, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably one of the most stressed out individuals I know. And it's like, where can I find some source of serenity? Where can I just like tone myself down and kind of acclimate myself? And this is the odd thing. That's kind of happened more lately. I mean, I've been really strung out with a lot of different things going on in multiple different directions in my life. But the crazy thing is, it's all moving forward. Like, the stress that I have today is not the same stress I had 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was stressed out about finding a place to live, finding work, finding a way I could, you know, feed and take care of my family. Today, the kind of stress that I have, it's like I'm able to do all of those things, no problem. Okay, so what am I doing to get to the next step? Okay, well, I want to make sure that both of my sons live with me. How do I push myself to go do that? I want to make sure that me as a father, I'm doing more than the bare minimum. I've reached bare minimum. How do I get above bare minimum? That's the kind of stress that I'm going through today, and it's a very healthy stress. But I'm the kind of person that no matter how healthy that stress might be, no matter how positive that stress might be, I don't always take it in a very positive way. Stress is stress is stress is stress is stress for me. So trying to learn to remember that all of the things that are stressing me out, they're positive, they're good, it's a very positive stress. Trying to keep the positivity in mind has always been really difficult for me, especially lately. But lately, I have found kind of an outlet to just unwind and just remove everything from the equation of my life, just for a few moments. And that is No Man's Sky. You see, I played No Man's Sky very briefly about a year after it came out. Couldn't stand it. Didn't want nothing to do with it. I decided to come back to it with the whole next update, and wow, it is very different. But I think it's less the update. I think the update really helped. But what I really, truly, honestly believe is my outlook on it. My entire outlook on that game has been completely changed because of one YouTuber, because of one individual. Noah Caldwell-Gervais. I'm gonna destroy his name even though I hear him say it all the time when I watch his videos. But the way that he described playing the game in both of his reviews, it really kind of wanted me to play the game again because of the way that he described it. And ultimately what I did is I was playing this game completely expecting something else. And that kind of goes back into when the game was overhyped. And a lot of people are throwing a lot of speculation on top of it. This is aside from all the lies from Hello Games and whatnot. This is just the word of mouth, person to person, where you have a little nugget of truth, but then you stretch it out into this giant thing. That's the perception that I had. That's like, oh, this is the kind of experience I'm going to take away from this. When that was nowhere near the case. So I went back to No Man's Sky, and instead of looking at it as this great giant space opera or whatever it was, I literally went into No Man's Sky this second time around just as a way for peace, a way for serenity. That's it. I went into this as a game, like, I can literally play this game without listening to any of the noise in the game. I can listen to a podcast or something in the background. I can just relax with it. I can explore, I can discover. And ever since I did that, not only have I been enjoying the game, but it's been really relaxing. And I'm not saying that you should go out and play the game and it's going to have this crazy adverse effect on you. No, by no means at all. But what I'm saying is I've taken stress in my life and I've associated it one way. And when the truth of that is, stress can come in different forms. You know, it's like you take a look at a celebrity or a movie star or whatever. These people have crazy stress in their life. I guarantee it. But all of that stress is very positive because it usually leads to a positive outcome. There's usually a plus result at the end of their stress. For most people in society, when it comes to stress, the result is usually negative. So I'm predisposed to that idea of stress. So when a new type of stress comes into my life, where the end result of that stress, the working through that stress and everything that comes with it, when that is going to be a net positive in my life, how do I handle that? You know, I'm so used to taking the negatives of stress and kind of letting it filter into me and just make me all different kinds of crazy inside. Whereas, hey, that's going to have a positive outcome. Why can't I just breathe? And like I said, the way that I found my moment to breathe, my moment to kind of just relax within myself, is to play No Man's Sky. Because in that game, I've decided that, do I have an end goal in that game? Is there something I want to achieve outside the main narrative? Absolutely, because that game it's a wealth of things that you can create in and of yourself. So there's a destination that I am headed to, of course, but it's building up to that area. And in the meantime, because it's this massive thing, I'm just along for the ride. I'm exploring this great cosmos around me. And in doing that, it's kind of just let me take a moment of time to breathe. I'm still playing a game, I'm still having fun with it, but I'm utilizing it as a way to travel, as it were. I'm exploring this vast world and all these crazy number algorithms, and it's kind of seeing how different parts and different mechanics in the game work. But I'm doing it all in the background, and it's helped me lately. It's helped take the stress that I have and just kind of put it on pause. Like, let me know, like, all right, everything's good. Let's just take a moment. And that's my takeaway to you guys, is to just take a moment. There are times in our lives where everything can just be too much, and it's so true. It is so true that life itself and all the mechanics of it and all the gears turning, it can literally just get to the point where I just need a break. I just need a break, and that's all you have to do. You just take a break, even if it's for an hour, even if it's for like an hour of your life. You know, you go on Spotify, Google Play Music, Apple Music, or whatever. Like, if music's your thing, go on one of those things, put together a playlist, something nice, mellow, something that's gonna bring you a sense of serenity. Put the headphones on, close your eyes, push play, and just lay there. You know, if that's your thing. If playing video games is your thing, well, play a video game that's relatively mindless, something that you can enjoy, but it operates more in the subconscious than anything else, and let your conscious mind just kind of chill. We all need to kind of take a breather for our brain noggins, you know what I'm saying? We all need to kind of take that time to just, and then that's it. That's it. That's all we need to do, is we just need that time to just chill. You know, I hope you guys took something away from that. You know, I was listening to Rob Jeffries, I'm pretty sure that's his name. I don't know why I'm blanking out on everything, mainly because I'm driving. But I was listening to one of his little According to Rob things, and it kind of inspired me. And, you know, I do want to continue to make content, but at the same time, I want to be able to have a conversation with you guys, as always. So, as always, you're all so glorious and beloved Mace Valor. I'm headed to a job right now. If you're not subscribed, why not click the button, throw up some likes, and in the comments down below, how do you guys deal with stress? What is your perception on stress? And based upon that perception, how do you formulate that in your life? Like, how do you do the grind with whatever type of stress that you might have? As always, Joe, so beloved and glorious, Mace Fowler.